Hello, my creative collective. How are you? This is your daily creative reading for April 8th, your hero's journey through the day and through your creative process and all this beautiful energy we got floating about. So let's dive right in, shall we, my creative collective? I would like to invite the angels, my guardian angels, my spirit guides, protectors, teachers, and their healing energy to this space. And I ask that it is a safe and brave space that allows for the fullest expression of our light, humanity, ascension, and healing. So let's dive in. We're going to start with the Hero's Journey Dream Oracle as per usual. Spirit, can I get some clarification here? Clarification. Oh my goodness. Okay, Spirit, can I get some cards, some big main energies here? Okay, thank you so much. The thin veil. Let go and let glow. I like this energy a lot. What else you got for me, Spirit? Ooh. Me time. Enjoy your own company. This has come out quite a bit. And let me just do this here. Be the bridge. Expand your consciousness to behold both worlds. Wow. I almost get what I'm getting is that this is like Four of Wands energy and you're the fourth wand. You're the fourth wand. And also it's that like there's something about the veil that's really thin right now for you. Wow. Interesting. Could be some downloads you're getting, dream work you're doing. But I'm getting that this me time, this downtime, I think yesterday there was something about that too. But it's like this kind of build-in breaks was the card from yesterday. So it's almost like this meditative energy is coming to the fore for you, but you have to take breaks. You have to make time for you, right? Like the other day, instead of sitting down to do this, I saw the the weather writing on the wall that it was going to be kind of a blah day. So I went out in the sun and just went for a sizable walk on a trail nearby, just so that I could get out and have that me time because it was so needed, right? So I almost feel like things like that, it doesn't have to be huge things. It can just be taking a walk in the sun on a lunch break or, it could be making food that you love, that you've been craving, that you know will nourish you, right? Like I say that, like I've been craving some, I make spaghetti squash and then I put chicken with it and make a homemade white sauce that's really light. It's not heavy. So it's with sour cream and light cream cheese and very light on both of those things and both lactose free. But like, making that, I haven't had it for so long. And I realized that I was craving that because of what was in the spaghetti squash that I wanted, right? So it's stuff like that where you can connect with foods or find that you're craving things specifically because your body is craving those nutrients, right? So considering that as part of me time, right? Where you're nourishing your body too. But I think that there's something specific about full stop, slow down, that is important here. This thin veil and be the bridge. Yeah, I feel like you're the fourth wand. So it's almost like there's something coming in. 333 on the time. It's almost like there's something coming in, and this looks like a wand, but it's almost like where you hang your hat. Where you hang your hat. Interesting. I'm just channeling this information, but I feel like you're the fourth wand, so you're the inspiration. There's something about you today and this week, and I'm getting this month too that is like either inspiring other people or that is inspiring something about your own journey. Like you're activating this part of your journey. There's something that you're not seeing yet, but that in this kind of downtime energy that you're kind of crossing the veil, and this is what's on the other side. So let's jump into this. I'm going to use the Muse Tarot by Chris Ann. Spirit, can you please clarify this for me? That was quite a lot. The Tower. Okay, well, that's pretty. Tower, Knight of Wands, and Queen of Swords. So I'll hold these up individually. The Tower, Knight of Wands. This is really, I think that that's what this is this articulation of like, now that you know what you want, you're going full steam ahead. 444 on the time. And I do think that it's supported by some kind of higher power, higher energy. And it's almost like you integrated pieces of this tower. Like I've heard quotes before that like what people thought would break me, I came back wearing, like that kind of thing. Like the stones that they threw, I used to build a foundation for my home. And I mean, you can be in that energy, but it's almost like I see that, like these components of the world falling apart now adorn her clarity. So it's almost like it could be a way to look at things like that. Interesting. Can I get more clarity here for April 8th, Spirit? Thank you so much. Queen of Cups. That's beautiful energy. After really explosive energy of the Tower, the Knight of Wands, and the Queen of Swords, I really like seeing the Queen of Cups here to balance things out. I'm getting some balance here. And I'm hearing, so because of Dory showing up right here, I'm here. What I heard was just keep swimming. And then I looked at the top and there was that person floating in there. Yeah. It's almost like there's a lot going on underneath the surface for you, which is a literal reading of this card. But I'm getting that there's a lot of ways that your emotions are coming to life in light of these fireworks here, in light of the Tower and this clarity that you've got. But what I'm seeing too is that your emotions come to life beneath the surface. And it's almost like this is the beneath the surface of your consciousness, right? That thin veil, and be the bridge. So I'm getting that there's this way that you're kind of transcending. And it could just be, this could be like, this could be related to ascension stuff. It could also just be related to getting downloads about things that are important to you and you're now able to move forward on them. Spirit, can I get some clarification on these cards in this journey for April 8th for my creative collective? Ace of Wands, but I feel like this is in the upright and it was here yesterday. So I do feel like this is a beautiful build on to yesterday's energy. Honestly, this is great. Seven of Swords. Four of Cups. Four of Swords. Nine of Swords. Two of Swords. Lots of mental energy here. Nine of Pentacles. Page of Cups. And the star on the bottom. Oh, that's beautiful. Okay. So we have the Queen of Cups here, clarifying the Tower, the Knight of Wands, and the Queen of Cups. And by Queen of Cups, I mean Queen of Swords. And then we have the Ace of Wands, followed by the Seven of Swords, the Four of Cups, and the Four of Swords. It's almost like as a build on from yesterday in this kind of, in this little travel that you're taking. Let me move the microphone down a bit here. In this sort of terrain that you're traversing internally, and I think it's emotional and mental because of the number of emotions here, and I see this, like the Tower and the Knight of Wands is very intense energy. I'm feeling that, and just the Queen of Swords being very clear, but also an intense energy. I'm getting that there's a way that your emotions are opening up a new, not a new path, but they're giving you a renewed sense of this is what I want to do. A lot of emotions on the path today, and this week, really. I'm getting that there are things that you might have taken for granted, but now you're seeing. So we have the Seven of Swords. And I don't think this is the Seven of Swords in terms of external energy coming towards you. I think this is Seven of Swords energy directed more emotionally, like you feel taken advantage of, like you're missing something, but you don't realize that you're within it, right? The drop in the ocean doesn't know that it's the whole ocean. And the Four of Swords is, to me, a healing energy. And it's like a healing energy that brings a specific kind of clarity with it. And I think that this sort of the ordeal, that sort of climactic energy of today, and I think this week really, is this Nine of Swords energy, where it's like you're doing battle with yourself. Right? And there's no way you can win that, because if you win and you're in that battle, there's winners and losers in battles, right? So you're winning, but you're also losing. So it's about understanding that there's no, it's not about a winner here, right? Like, this is, to me, in the way that this is positioned with the Two of Swords, is it's like you feel really torn, and it's about connecting to the part of you that can take the blindfold off, that can take some kind of power or agency back in the situation. Right? Like, we have the Nine of Swords and the Two of Swords, and it's like, it's almost like you go from this sort of dream state, this like thin veil, right? And then you become the bridge. You do what the cards say, and you become the bridge. Because these are all your thought processes. These are all what's going on in your mind. These are patterns, beliefs, all of that stuff, right? So it's like you're becoming the bridge, which is beautiful energy. And then I feel like that unlocks this freedom. This is such a beautiful freedom energy. Very confident. I don't know why I can't unsee it, but I almost feel like this person is in a colander. Like, they're in a colander, and it's like going through this rinse, right? Like being cleansed. Like, when I wash strawberries and things like that, like I rinse them and we'll put them in the colander, and it's like just the way that they flow, like they roll off my hand, reminds me of the way that the roses are rolling off of the hand here. That's all. So I think it could be like a value that's a renewed value, a renewed sense of self-worth, and a renewed understanding. And then in comes this beautiful offer. So we have this like healing energy more related to you, but then I think that there's an offer that comes in. It could be from a water sign. It could be from someone leading a project who is a water sign. We can't really know this, because like, how uncomfortable would it be to walk up to a person you're working on a project with and be like, hey, what's your sign? What's your sign? We can't do that. So they could be exhibiting water traits. They could be exhibiting those energies. And I'm hearing tentacularity because of the tentacles here. So there's almost like this sense of being able to, like a way that you can manage multiple projects. It's almost like having 12 hands. Like, you feel like there's a way that this person is in charge without being like in emperor energy. It just flows. That could be the energy and vibe of this person, right? Who's in touch with their emotions and who isn't afraid to offer from the healed heart space, right? And a heart space that is connected to solar plexus energy as well, that's freeing. And the star card is here, in my opinion, as like a healing energy, if not healed energy. So I get this impression that it's like you're coming together. I'm just hearing you're coming together with this ideal vision and the realistic version. Like, something is coming together here for you. Let's dive in and see what that's about, shall we? And just so that you know, as I go through, it won't be for a little bit yet, but this is sort of where I would break with this reading and then create an extended that I will be asking a small fee for. Some people have issues with that, but I think it's what that would allow me to do is to sustain this channel, number one. Number two, turn this into a legitimate, like a true business where I'm doing readings for others and all of that jazz. But also, this would just allow me to put money back into doing this work, right? So I want to give you the heads up about that's coming, probably not for a little bit, and there's still going to be tons and tons of content on here that has no extended added onto it, right? So we do the basic reading and then we go into clarifying details, and it's in the details where a lot of things come out. So I think that there is something truly valuable about those extended readings. I've purchased them from other channels. They're usually not that much. Like, I've seen them between $6 and $12, depending on the reader and also depending on the currency and the exchange. Right. So we're going to head in that direction just to make this more sustainable. So And also out of respect for the others doing the work who have extendeds, right? Because I feel like it's important to honor the creative space that you're in and to recognize that there are others doing this work too, and they do extendeds, and it's sort of being in conversation with what others are doing as well. So that is where we're headed with that. So this part is where I would split and then turn it into an extended reading. So you'll be able to join me on those. I will have links and all of that wonderful, wonderful stuff. But for now, there's the tower again. But for now, I'm going to dive in. But I wanted to kind of, leave you with a sense of understanding what some changes will look like on here. So, Spirit, can I get some clarification here, please, on this energy of the Page of Cups, the Star, and this Nine of Pentacles? I almost get like this freedom, like, when you have a good cry, like you have a really deep baptism from within kind of cry, and the freedom that you feel in the weeks afterwards because you've really let something go. Not to say that it has to be like this intense energy of the tower here that I identified, but it's almost like it's connected to something like that. Like there's a really big release, and it's like the me time that you're connecting to is coming from that, and it doesn't need to be, crying in that way. But I'm getting energy of that where you have this like release and relief, more so relief is what I'm hearing. King of Wands, yeah. I think it's giving you the ability to know what you want and to go for it. Two of Swords and Three of Pentacles on the split. It's like it's giving you a sense of direction now. It's giving you a sense of direction that you may not have had before, but you had an idea about. You had like a Page of Wands about. Holy shit, that was right on the split. You had a Page of Wands about it, and it kind of gave you some sense of emotional clarity. But I think that you're stepping into something more, like it's a direction, which is markedly different. It could also be related to fire energy or a Sag. Page of Pentacles, and this is where I think you'll see more offers of this from the universe, confirming that this was like, I'm hearing the right decision, and I'm seeing the Emperor on the bottom, so it could be fire energy for sure. Nine of Pentacles on the bottom too, but I'm seeing this like you'll know it's the right decision for you because of this. And then it's like you had a sense of direction, and now this is direction meets passion, meets value, meets clarity, meets momentum forward, meets emotional stability, and really embracing your path. And then it's like liftoff. It's like liftoff. Spirit, can I get some clarification here on this kind of intensity of the Tower, the Queen of Swords, and the Nine of Swords, and the Two of Swords with the Knight of Wands? So I see the Star card here. So again, more healing. It's almost like I'm hearing that the pattern doesn't matter as much as you need to know that it's healing. And I don't think it's something that you're completely aware of. Like it's not something that you're doing through active journal work or things like that. It's what's coming from you just living your life, which is kind of the most beautiful transformations if you think about it. Yeah, beautiful transformation. It's very balanced because it's just you doing your thing and being like, oh, and making tweaks along the way. Like I'm hearing that you don't need the Tower. And maybe this is the Tower, is that you're understanding that you don't need calamity. You don't need chaos to be in the Queen of Swords energy. Whereas before you may have relied on that to know that you were on the right path and to clarify things for you, right? Like, I mean, I grew up in a home with a lot of chaos, and it took a lot of work in my teens and 20s to really disconnect from chaos as a way to know what the fuck was going on with my life and myself, right? It took a lot of work to pull back and understand what was actually happening. And it was tough, but it's not impossible. And I feel like that's kind of what you're doing here, is you're getting that clarity because you're like, I don't need this, like, it's not the give and take that I want, right? Yeah. And you're really putting, I'm going to put this down here. This is like the exclamation point on it. And then this is the start of the new sentence. I just heard 10 of Cups and Magician. This is the start of the new sentence, and the Sun on the bottom. So I'm really seeing that this is huge for you. And I think it's a part of growing up, but like if you had any kind of tumult or tumultuousness at home when you grew up, and that's kind of how people communicated value, is like there had to be something that fell apart in order for, like, it was very dramatic. It was always so big. It couldn't just be these little transformations that led to something more, right? Like Page of Pentacles, little tweaks along the way that get you there. It had to be like big and always Pluto and all of this stuff. And that's where like I'm comfortable with Pluto energy, but I'm recognizing that some people live and die by it. And that is like, and these like little deaths that they experience every day because they're so in this Pluto energy. And they confuse Pluto energy for Mars energy and momentum and forward movement. And that's where it's, okay, a Knight of Swords. And that's where it can be really destructive momentum because it doesn't really transform you. It just kind of, the way I get it is that it's like, it makes it hard for people to relate to you, right? It creates this disconnect between where you need and what you want. So that's for somebody. Can I get some clarification on the wands, the Ace of Wands and the Four of Cups, Spirit? Thank you. Wow. Okay. So, I think that there is, yeah. Okay. Let me move this down here so I can. So we have the Nine of Pentacles, clarified by the Ace of Cups, clarified by Justice. So that's Libra. This could be the Libra full moon where something's kind of coming to the fore for you. Judgment, which is Pluto. And then Three of Wands, which to me is positive expectation, but it's also inspired project management. I just heard. Oh my gosh. So I'm getting from this that you're trusting in your own ability to discern. I see this as discerning energy, right? Discernment. You're discerning. Justice to me is discernment. You're discerning what's here in a loving energy and what's not. And I think that is helping you to come into better balance, but also to recognize that you're the fourth wand, right? This is also Three of Wands energy, and it's be the bridge. And I think this is you approaching it being like, I'm ready. And this is, it's the healing card on the end, Four of Swords, right? So this is, I'm going to clarify this. I'm very interested to see how this, how Spirit gives us this message. Spirit, can you clarify this Four of Swords relative to the rest of the deck here and this spread? And this healing energy and this recognition that we are the fourth wand and a tremendous source of our own inspiration. And the High Priestess. Why wouldn't she be here? It's a chunk of cards, but we'll roll with it. So the reason why I kept pulling was I get the Seven of Cups and the Five of Wands. This to me is a lot of external facing resistance. Things are coming at you really quickly. You have to make quick decisions. And I feel like that's kind of what threw you out of balance. And that could be the Plutonic kind of, and Plutonic not in terms of, Plutonic relationships necessarily, but the way that it's coming at you in ways that makes you confuse conflict for transformation, right? That it's like what I said here, like confusing chaos for transformation and thinking that it's a Mars energy. And what that allows is for really tender-hearted expressions of love and passion to come in. And this doesn't necessarily mean romantically. I mean, it's very sweet when it does, but, I think this means too that it's like allowing you to be excited about things again. This is like excitement for things, right? This is like I think the Knight of Wands and the Knight of Cups together are the equation of like joie de vivre, right? Like you're excited for what's here and what's coming. And it's connecting you to this, it's like freeing you from this boredom with the work that you were doing, but not boredom with like, oh, I don't like my job. I don't like this thing. I don't like that thing. No, it's really freeing you from the sense of like, I'm just doing the work and it's not always pretty, but someone's got to do it. So responsibility all the way. Am I right? Like, so it's giving you access to that higher part. And I think that's part of the bridge. right? That's where the me time comes in, is you're connecting with this higher version of yourself that remembers that it's safe to be excited because the other shoe isn't going to drop. Like, it's not, you don't need this, like, chaos doesn't apply. Like, sometimes it's easy to forget. Like, I've dated, I've been in relationships and on projects with people who were not very kind, quite cruel actually. And that can disconnect you from the truth that things that you've had to unlearn about your childhood, because it triggers that safety. So you're like, I need to rush to find safety again. And so you take respite, respite. You sort of take shelter in these beliefs that you had when you were younger because they kept you safe, right? So I think that it's almost like you're just unlocking those things and you're like, I don't know why I have these things in my, like, for example, after I transitioned, I had all of these, the clothes that I would never wear again. I literally will never wear them again. So I went through and I ended up giving them away to family members and things like that. And it's like an entire wardrobe that I had to get rid of. And you don't have to get rid of it, but it just really didn't resonate. But if I kept it and hung on to it, it would almost be like hanging on to things in that capacity where we know we're not going to use them again, but like, what's this someday that we're waiting for? And why do we hold on to beliefs about the world and things around us when we're like waiting for something, like we're holding on to something, right? This energy like that. So I think that this is sort of you freeing yourself from that. And then I feel like the shadow work tomorrow that we pull out from a reading may be intricately related. I just heard interesting. I'm going to pull from the Miracles Now deck by Gabby Bernstein just to further clarify this reading. But again, so before I do this, just something that's coming to mind here. Okay, those are the two cards, I guess. What I'm hearing is that the High Priestess is here with the Ace of Cups to remind you, and the Ten of Cups to remind you, and the Star to remind you that love is more available than you thought it might have been, right? What you love loves you back, like in terms of careers and things like that. I was thinking about this week because of, thinking about a career, a stream or that I was like, oh, that didn't love me back. Not quite as much as I loved it. And I was annoyed when things started coming up around it. I was like, ugh, I don't want to face this. And I felt like there was one bit of wisdom in particular that like, it felt like it like saw through me. And I was like, really? Do you have to see through? Like, it just, yikes, right? And it could be that thin veil where you're seeing through in a way that you're like, bleh, and you just have to like freeze because you're like, oh, don't breathe and they won't see me, right? But it's too late because it's like spirit sees you, your guides see you, the angels see you, and there's nothing wrong with what they see. And I think that's wisdom that you need to remember and integrate, right? So releasing anger from the past sets me free in the present. Yeah. Releasing anger from the past sets me free in the present. Absolutely. That tower energy, right? I don't know why it's like the chaos energy is loud in this reading. I don't know. You don't need chaos to define your beliefs or yourself or to step into your identity or power, right? We don't need conflict for that. And in keeping with that theme, I let my intimate relationships be my greatest learning devices for spiritual growth and healing. And the thing is that they can facilitate growth. They can facilitate healing. It's so important, though, to remember that they can facilitate healing and they can facilitate growth to the extent that you let them and to the extent that you show up fully and authentically. But that's not the sole purpose of relationships, right? They're also there for your joy. So remember that too. And then I'm going to pull from the Notes from the Universe on Love and Connection deck by Mike Dooley. Spirit, can I get some messages for my creative collective for April 8th, please? And thank you so much. That you have options is meaningful. Rock on. Indeed. If I could make just 2 wishes, I'd wish I could somehow convey to you the profound depths of my gratitude for your every moment of your life. I'd also wish that you could somehow know of your unimaginable importance, just as you now are, to the lives of so very many. And of course, I'd wish for 7 more wishes, or even more wishes. Oh, shoot. You were such a good idea, the universe. I think this is a reminder that you have something to do about and with and through this kind of this little realization, this like big little realization. There's quite a bit of energy here. I'm seeing directly like signs and things, Aquarian and Uranian energy. I'm also seeing the moon. I see Gemini and Mercury energy, Saturn, more Uranian energy in the star card here, and I see Aries in the first house. So Gemini's third house, Saturn is Sagittarian Saturn is Capricorn and 10th house, but also a little bit 11th house in Aquarius originally. And Aquarian energy twice is 11th house. So this could be related to your relationship to community, right? This could be related to the ways that you are, I guess, connecting with your network. And I'm hearing networking and how you show up there. What else do we have here? Justice is Libra energy, and that is 7th house and long-term contracts and relationships. So I'm going to pull one more card from this deck here. Spirit, can I just get a few more messages here, please? And thank you. No two flowers are the same, yet all are beautiful in their own way. Comparisons are odious because they presume all other things are equal, which is never the case. Between me and you, the universe. So it's almost like I'm getting the impression that it would be easy to compare yourself or your journey to that of other people and say, well, it hasn't been the same. It hasn't been as easy as what other people have had. And I think that it can kind of send you into this 9 of Swords place because you're like, am I doing it right? It's been a whole lot harder, a whole lot more difficult. And like I can speak from experience when I say that it just because it's more difficult for your journey doesn't mean you're doing it wrong, right? Sometimes there are lessons that we have to learn, and that's the way that it shows up. And it doesn't mean that those things, that hurt us had to show up in specific ways. But I think that we are able to better understand ourselves and our path through them because we choose what to make of them. Right? So I think that that's really what is important here, is that part of choosing what to make of something, like very Mercury energy, in terms of communicating value about something, and also the value of something to ourselves is 2nd house, more so in terms of finances, and 7th house in terms of relationship and what's important to us. That Taurian and that Libran energy, but I'm getting Empress together and Venus. So that energy is quite loud, but I think the moment that you start comparing your journey to others, it doesn't just do you a disservice because it distracts you and pulls at your energy. I think it does a disservice because it stops you from seeing that all the things that you've had to overcome along the way are what have given you the most beautiful wings, like absolutely beautiful. So I hope that this reading resonated. Happy Friday. And if it did resonate, please feel free to like and subscribe. It helps me to grow the channel and to know that things like this resonate for you. So I'm very excited to continue to do these readings, and so I shall. But if you wanted to connect with me in other ways between the daily readings and around them, there are playlists that you can find under the videos tab on my channel, and it gives you the videos tab will give you access to all of them, and you'll be able to see the playlists on the home screen. But there's a whole bunch of different content that I'm putting out and putting together in service to your creative awakening and to you as a creative. This is tarot for creatives, right? So and the creative spark in all of us. So my daily creative collective, if this is where we part, I hope that you have a wonderful weekend, and I will see you on the other videos, morning, noon, or night. I hope that wherever this finds you, it is finding you in joy, light, and healing. Take care.